I'm ready for all today, through all the pain, all the way, the fight, the one for all, my life, the love, we taking it all the way,
You call Christian McCaffrey your balls because they're definitely not washed.
True, honestly. All right, what is going on at Sleeper and 32-Bit Nation? It is your boy Nader alongside the #1 Australian analyst, Sheahan. How you doing over there?
I'm doing all right. We're recording a day earlier than we usually do, so this is, everything's strange and foreign to me. But let me ask you a question off the top here. Are you familiar with a product called a Windy?
A Windy? No, I am not.
Oh, just the product's called the Windy.
The Windy. I gotta
would be
Google
the
this. The Windy. Is it WIDNDY?
I guess.
No.
It's a piece of plastic, probably about 5 inches long.
5 inches is a lot.
It is, and sort of the one end of it is sort of long and thin, and the other end of it is a little bit thick. It looks like a silencer for a gun, kind of. And the purpose of this is to essentially, if you've got a gassy baby, you put it into the baby's bum.
Yeah, I'm interested.
And according to the packet, within a couple of seconds, you're supposed to hear this whistle of like a fart, essentially, being eased out of it. Uh-huh. And, then you've got a happy baby straight away. So, young Fred has been a little bit gassy.
Oh, okay.
And last week, we were like, oh, he's in, his tum's really hard. We've gone through everything. Break glass in emergency. We're going to use one of these. We got a bunch of them. From people at our baby shower, who all swear by how effective it is. So, got out the Vaseline, lubed up the tip, and
sounds like
lifted his legs,
and
inserted this kind of plastic thing into his ass.
Interesting.
And it's a two-man job, as it were. Because you need one person to kind of calm him down, and the other person sort of stands there with the product in hand, ready to, I guess, support it. Because you don't want him to collapse and then breaks off in his bum, and then you've got a whole other issue. So I'm standing there with this thing in my hand, and kind of looking off into nothingness, and counting in my head how long, because a couple of seconds passed and still nothing, and said, yeah, was that the whistle? Don't know, left it. And I looked down, and there was this thick brown-yellow sludge tipping out the end of this little plastic piping. Just slowly running, not quickly, but just like nuclear waste in a cartoon dripping out of him into the nappy. And it was one of, generally, it smells like most breastfed babies, their poo doesn't smell, but for whatever reason this had a horrible smell to it, because I guess it was just straight out into vaguely where my nose was. It was a horrible colour. It was just disgusting. I was holding it and I could feel that is essentially my fantasy week this week.
There was a really long build up. I was hoping for a large release of gas from his intestines, but no, that was the furthest thing from what I expected.
Yeah, no, that's what we were hoping for too. You hear the little whistle, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, this is great." No, it was this shitty piece of plastic, and I mean, he was happier after it. Don't get me wrong, And
That's the moral of the story. I was just about to ask.
you know, that's the purpose. You know, he was better. It's the issue's not been alleviated entirely. We're working through some other options there. And as I said to you before we came on air, the reason we're doing this early is because I'm awake, because the boy just blew out his nappy, and it required sort of, again, a two-man clean-up job. This is my life, cleaning up shit and being shit at fantasy at the moment.
Well, I just won my fantasy week because DeAndre Swift outscored Travis Kelce, so I'm pretty happy. That was my week.
Bang! Wow, that's. I mean, I held on for a win in my family league, which I needed to do. I needed to stop the rot there. I won another one to put me ahead of the ledger in that league, but rough week. I nearly had my score doubled in one of them. Just a tough old week for your boy here.
F in the chat for the homie, and a thumbs up in the chat for the boy Fred, because he now doesn't have poop in his system, which is a good thing. So whenever the baby's crying, have you ever done the throw a packet of cheese at him yet?
No, obviously not.
Why not?
I've tried literally everything else.
What do you mean?
The latest has been you tried literally everything. You know, there's all these different poses where you're supposed to just put him into it. Oh, the instantly calms your baby. No, he hates that even more. The only thing that seems to calm him at the moment is making weird sounds.
No, here, I'm going
to
send you a video.
Pause.
This is what you have to do. The fact that you haven't tried this
screaming.
yet. The fact that you haven't tried this yet. We'll watch it together. Now, Naeem he could watch it too, and the editor, he could decide whether he wants to keep this in. But the fact that you haven't tried this yet. Tell me when you're about to hit play.
I've hit play now. I put the cheese on the baby's head.
Yes, it's guaranteed to work. Guaranteed. You have guaranteed.
I mean,
guaranteed.
This is not. I mean, we don't really have this sort of cheese.
Figure it out.
Nowhere in the world.
Figure it out. All right. If you get colonized. It works. See?
Jesus Christ.
See?
I think it's the shock of it, I think, for them.
No, they weren't crying that one, but
no. And then they eat the cheese. I mean, these kids are all a little bit older.
It doesn't matter. Stop making excuses. Look, there's a baby one. Look, this one just came out of the womb. See?
Look,
See?
This could genuinely be an option.
Genuinely be an option? This should have been your first option.
I'm sorry I don't live my life on TikTok.
I don't have TikTok, but you should have known this trend.
This is in none of the manuals. But anyway, should we talk some fantasy football?
I'm a little more interested about the cheese, but so can you record it and then show me how it works?
If I'm allowed to do it, I will.
Honestly, at this point, with how little sleep you and your wife has gotten, I feel like if you show her this video and she doesn't say yes, then maybe you just aren't meant to be parents.
How about I send it to her now and see what
Okay.
she says? Oh no, you can probably hear that through the microphone.
Yeah, for any parent out there that's struggling with a crying baby, just YouTube making kids stop crying by throwing cheese at them, and you'll find hundreds and thousands of videos, multiple minutes long, and just compilations of parents throwing cheese at their babies while they're crying, and all of a sudden they just magically stop. I don't know what happens or why, but it's science. You throw a piece of cold cheese at them, and then all of a sudden it's just natural. Sheahan, have you ever cried while having cheese on your face? Exactly. So you can't disprove it. You can't cry while having cheese on your face.
That's true. That's absolutely true. You've been in a food fight.
No, I have not.
No, me neither. I was led to believe they'd be more prevalent. Anyway, justifiable overreactions. Let's do it. This is the worst week for injuries in history.
Okay, so Joey Burrow got hurt.
I'm lumping Watson in this week as well.
Deshaun Watson, okay, don't really care for him.
Mark Andrews,
okay, that's up there.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a tough recovery for Watson if you can't find anyone to massage his shoulder.
I'm sure he'll find somebody.
Taylor Rapp, not fantasy relevant, but nasty injury. Deonta Foreman.
Yeah. What happened to him?
He's been pretty good. Ankle did not return.
All right, we'll see. All right.
Aaron Jones, possibly season. Joey Bosa.
What happened with him? I know he was carted off the field. What's the status for him?
Crying like a bitch. Someone. I fucking hate the Bosas.
Please don't. Actually,
I hate Bosa to Bosa
D's nuts.
Cooper Kupp, ankle injury, possibly season, or at least a couple of weeks. Puka's day to day with the shoulder. Devon A-Chain into the game and then out of it, like the Grandpa Simpson meme. Darius Slayton, you can argue whether that's fantasy relevant or not. Zach Wilson, benched. Big shit's not an injury, I suppose.
Depends who you ask.
Gino left the game, and that probably cost the team. Ken Walker.
Ripperino for him.
Sam Howell got his bell rung, came back in.
That's true. There's a lot of injuries, a lot of quarterback injuries. Of course, we could talk to Joey Burrow.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good one to start because, like, you look at it, Cooper Kupp, that's a fantasy issue.
Big one.
It's a fantasy issue for Stafford. It's good for Puka. Aaron Jones makes that Packers offense better. Jalen Reed's been really good. He's probably the only startable piece there anyway. With no Jones, you're probably looking at A.J. Dillon, and he might be a movable piece. But, like, no Burrow downgrades that entire offense.
Yeah, and it's no slight on Browning, the World War II machine gun, but he's not Joe Burrow. And it doesn't matter how good he is. He could be good. He's not Joe Burrow. So it's going to be a downgrade.
Yeah.
And, it just adds to my ever long season victory lap that should have just taken McCaffrey 101 and not Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase or Austin Eckler.
I mean, McCaffrey could have easily been.
Yeah. Yes.
At any point, and that's the thing, I suppose. Like, without Burrow, you lose Chase. Higgins is down. Chase is downgraded. Higgins is downgraded. Mixon's probably downgraded. We know Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson, I think, is downgraded. That offense is downgraded because he's such a critical part of it.
But you know who will get an uptick? And it might be weird for me to say it. It actually might be because I've been dogging on this player for a very long time. Rashad Bateman might get an uptick.
He might have to, because I think Odell left the game as well.
He did a shoulder injury. I don't know how the seriousness of it. Of course, we are, just to remind everybody, recording this on a Monday, so injury reports have not came out. So by the time you listen to this, there might be a more clarified report. And as of right now, Odell, he left the game. I don't think he returned because of his shoulder. Rashad Bateman did have a touchdown that game. As soon as Mark Andrews left, he's going to probably play the possession receiver role, considering he is a possession receiver. Everybody else, like you mentioned, they're going to be downgrades. Jamar Chase, while he is an elite talent, I think one of the big arguments that had to be said when you're drafting next year is that, like for example, a wide receiver, they need a lot of things to go right for them to catch a pass. Like good offensive. First, the play call has to be to them, supposedly. Offensive line has to hold up. Quarterback has to see it, make a proper throw. You got to catch it, and then after that, you're gonna excel with the yards because you get the catch and the yards if you're in PPR. With the running back, it's just have a halfway decent O lineman and just hit the hole and pick up 0.5, and then rinse and repeat. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's too late.
It's too late.
I'm too tired, and it's at no point in the season to discuss the merits of zero RB versus heavy RB. But obviously we're going to come back to it, just because you and I fundamentally disagree on it, and because we'll run out of topics to talk about over the off-season. Tyreek Hill as well. left the game with a hand injury, came back and had still a pretty good game. But that's the sort of thing that might show up.
The Raiders should have won that game. For anybody listening, the Raiders should have won that game.
I kind of agree.
That should have been another game where the Dolphins lost to an under 500 or over 500 or 500 team.
One of the other things that really annoys me about the NFL is, and I think the Bengals are a good example of this, and I suppose to a degree you can take the Peyton Manning theory of you don't let the backup practice, because if the backup's in, you're fucked, and you don't practice, fucked. Fair enough. But teams with Super Bowl aspirations need to put more value in their backup quarterback. Because you look at the best backups in the league, they're all, and rightly so, they should be competing for starting jobs. Minshew, Brissett, Josh Dobbs,
PJ Walker, potentially.
PJ Walker. But you look, Jake Browning in Cincinnati. This is a team with Super Bowl aspirations. You have Jake Brisket as your backup there. He can steer the ship. They might not be the same explosive offense, but he's going to run that offense better than Jake Browning. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why there's not more value put into that position by teams who... we saw what the Vikings did with... who's that super religious guy they had a couple of years ago?
Let's see, there's Tim Tebow, but I don't think that's who you tied. There's Case Keenum.
Case Keenum. Mm-hmm. Where's he? Where's he? You've got Joe Flacco going to the Browns.
He must have officially retired for that to happen.
There's
still Cam Newton.
Case Keenum.
Still Cam Newton.
Cam Newton's out. He looked as busted ass as
he
possible.
is washed.
Matt Ryan.
He is Cam Newton is the dishes.
Cam Newton is absolutely the dishes. But I don't know if they don't have them because they don't want locker room controversy or what, but it's just, it doesn't make sense to me.
The bottom line is that these more experienced players are just going to take up more salary cap, that they can't ill afford to do so. And they need to save that either for one of their star players, of course. Joe Burrow probably took the backup quarterback budget, assuming he probably wouldn't get hurt. But, this guy, I believe Browning, he is a rookie, right?
Yeah. That's why he's there, because he's on a rookie contract. What about this then? Keep the NFL trade deadline, but you can trade quarterbacks at any point before the playoffs.
I'm interested.
So you get to this point, there's injuries, and you're like, fuck it, we are going to give up a first for Jacoby Brissett or for... all right, for argument's sake, put Mac Jones in with the Bengals.
You know what? I really don't want to see that. As a football fan, I feel like it's just a disservice. I'd rather see the Browning rookie.
I would imagine that Mac is probably better than this kid, simply because one of them's a starting quarterback in the NFL and the other one's not. But I think that would be an interesting ripple in the league if you could turn around. Like, the Raiders don't want Jimmy G. Like, if the Bengals go, you know what, we'll pay up for him, or whoever it is, whatever that player is, you go, fuck it, we think we're a live chance at the Super Bowl, bring someone in. And obviously there's issues with, you want a guy who knows the playbook, but we've just seen what Dobbs has come in and done. With the right player, I think you can turn.
He's the pastronaut.
Ryan Tannehill, there's a perfect example.
But is he the pastronaut?
Ryan Tannehill.
He's not an aerospace engineer who's going to sit there and just learn a playbook like a snap of his fingers. Did you see his dad just looking at the field Sunday Night Football with absolute disgust while he's just running for touchdowns?
I did not.
His dad just sat there and it said, it's like, as I mini side note he just sat there and looked with hair on his head, by the way. He had hair. And the whole time he's like, should have been working at NASA. This is embarrassing. What is this? What is this joke of a football game? Could have been doing mathematician stuff, but no.
His name is apparently Robert Dobbs, and it annoys me that he doesn't roll with Bob Dobbs as his name.
Yeah, I don't even want to look at him because the way he looks at him with disgust, I feel the secondhand disgust looking at me, and I question all my life choices. I went to bed early because of him.
Classic Bob Dobbs. But yeah, I would like to see quarterbacks tradable all year round. You put Ryan Tannehill on the Bengals or Ryan Tannehill on the Browns, they're immediately more interesting. They're still a contender, a true contender.
Fair enough. I can go behind that.
Yeah, so anyway, that's my point this week. Brandon Staley's not making it to Christmas as Chargers coach.
God. I've never seen a team look so good and so bad at the same time. There's so many mental mistakes. Like Quentin Johnson, catch a pass. Austin Eckler, how about you not fumble on the one?
Drops are an issue for Johnson in college. Also, I mean, I was never a big Johnson guy. We talked about it at the time, but yeah, that was not on Herbert.
No, that's not on
that loss. But they've lost 5 games by less than 3 points or 3 points.
Yeah, the inability to win close games, it has become an issue. Making those key maneuvers that is going to put him in a position to succeed. Because it always ends up this way, where we want to sit there and not blame Herbert. But, like, what is the issue at this point? The fact that the defense is allowing 28 points minimum per game? The fact that wide receivers can't catch a pass? There's fumbles?
I mean, that is a problem with a defensive coach.
It is. It absolutely is. And then the way in the interview, he kind of had that little outburst where he said, it's not on the defense. Okay, well, you just let Jordan Love, who's having the worst downslide.
He's played 2 good games in a row. I didn't think Love was
he
that
played
bad.
Pretty well. He played well, but I feel like somebody that was struggling in an offense that's struggling, where one, Aaron Jones isn't there anymore, and 2, the rest of the receiving core are all rookies against Khalil Mack, and that secondary should do better.
They should do better. It's Staley is doing his press conferences like a man, like dead man walking.
He knows he's gone.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Last but not least, the best person to spend Thanksgiving with is Guy Fieri.
Nah, I don't want to see those frosted tips on my dining table.
That's a terrible call. That's horrible. It's absolutely correct. He's going to show up. He's going to cook the food. The food's going to be incredible. He loves his football. It's just imagine going to his house for Thanksgiving.
He's going to try to serve me turkey, and not once has turkey ever been good.
I would imagine he'd probably like deep fry it. That would be incredible.
Turkey is dry. It's unswallowable. You just sit there chewing.
What about a turkey? A big turkey drumstick?
It's turkey. Eat normal food like a normal person.
What do you eat?
Well, I am, for everybody that hasn't known yet, I am Palestinian, and while I am Americanized for the most part, my parents still kind of grew up traditionally on that side. We didn't have that traditional, with the gravy, the pie, the mashed potatoes. The mashed potatoes actually still did happen. And the turkey, we did lamb, roasted lamb.
Yeah, but roast lambs.
Yeah, that's why I'm not gonna complain. It's lamb.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, I'm kind of with you with turkey. I don't mind turkey. I like the leftovers. Right. I like making up a gobbler the next day. Like, that's the sides. I could take or leave some of them, but I don't mind turkey. I love a big turkey drumstick too. But lamb's a good call. We had lamb at Easter.
So good. Yeah, but when you're at a people's house for dinner or barbecue or whatever, when you fill up your plate with food, you could always tell if it's good or not by the way the people sit down and eat it, or the way they throw it away. The way they throw away the plate is a big indicator if they like it or not. Because if they turn the plate over, that means there's still food in there. They didn't like it. But if they just throw the plate in the garbage normally, and that means they enjoyed it because it's empty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's true.
And people with turkey, that plate's flipped over.
But I think, it depends. Depends on the quality. I feel like I cook a nice bird, but nice slow roasted lamb, so you can tear it apart. Maybe like a pomegranate, scattered over the top of it. Yeah.
I'm interested.
Like some pomegranate seeds, a bit of a
I'm
dressing.
interested.
Making gravy out of the juices. Yeah.
And then usually what my mom does, she cooks
Potatoes.
rice, and then she also gets ground beef, and she'll cook the ground beef with the rice. So you get ground beef, rice, and then the lamb.
Do you get into that that Jordanian dish where it's like the rice and then you like cook it and it's like a rice
Yeah,
pie?
and then you flip the pot over. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a Jordanian dish.
That looks. Yeah, that
It
looks
is really
great.
good, actually. It is good. Actually, I had it not long ago. I had it not like just a couple of days ago. My mom made it, but she'll make it. So the typical traditional one is where you cook the lamb inside the rice and then you flip it over. But my mom likes it with chicken more, so we'll do it with chicken instead of lamb.
I don't like how she's disrespecting the
I know.
traditions of,
I'm not going
Jordan.
to say you're wrong, but you're kind of right.
Yeah, a friend of mine's Jordanian, and she is like, "This is the best."
It's really good. It is really good. But the problem is because my mom does it with chicken, and chicken is significantly more cheaper, a lot less expensive, I should say, than lamb. Then
takes less time.
It takes less time to cook, and then you can kind of repeatedly cook it over and over. And especially because you cook the chicken and the rice, that means the rice and the chicken, they last a little bit longer. So that means you can cook a much bigger pot of it, and then you can continually have leftovers.
Yeah. I mean, I love a biryani.
That is also good.
Largely the same concept. Anyway, good rice and meat talk.
Yes. I feel like we always have some type of food talk. Like we were talking about nuts not long ago.
That was like a fucking year ago, but I reckon I think about that conversation quite often.
There you go.
Because we're recording at a different time.
Okay, listening.
Should we do what are we thankful for? Or
I'm
maybe
interested.
what are we not thankful for this fantasy season? Well, you got anything off the top?
I am thankful for Tank Dell. Tank Dell has saved me so many times this year. I would be nothing without the tank named Dell. Him and CJ Stroud, they are more than welcome to eat my Thanksgiving food and leave me hungry. I am more than okay with it. They can do whatever they want. They can trash the house. It's okay. Because they saved me. That stack has saved me multiple occasions, and I'm very thankful for them.
On Tank Dell, I looked at he was one of the rookies I scouted this offseason and did like a full deep dive on and wrote my notes up. I put him on Twitter, but didn't really get any traction. That's fine. I'm not out here doing it for the likes, for the retweets. But let me read out some of this report that I
listening.
did. So these were his strengths. I had dynamite in the open field, release and route running, ball tracking. I'd say that stands to reason that they are his strengths. You don't end up with numbers like Dell's without having multiple strings to your bow. Yes, he's athletic, but he knows how to use his speed and balance to get open and to beat defenders in the open field. I'd say he'll clock about a 4.32 in the 40, which is more than enough gas to fill the roles that he's likely to play at the next level. You can tell he's spent a lot of time honing the finer points of his receiver craft. His release is effortless and effective without being explosive. Though he hits top speed very quickly and moves through the gears with ease, and has no issues with press coverage. To paraphrase LMFAO, he's speedy and he knows it. He used the threat of the big play to goad corners into thinking his routes are more vertical than they end up being. He stacks his routes better than most at college level, tracks the ball like a baseball outfielder. You can tell he's spent many long hours wearing out people's shoulders on the practice field. His balance and change of direction make him a threat to score from anywhere. He's not going to burst through arm tackles like Debo or AJ Brown. His ability to stop on a dime, watch defenders zoom by, reminds me of Kyler Murray. Shows up big in his punt return ability, which is likely his path to NFL snaps. So that was my assessment of his strengths, which I think, I'm going to be honest, pretty fucking accurate. Good route runner, good hands, tracks the ball well deep.
I think.
And this was my verdict for him was day 3 in the NFL draft. I think he was a day 3 pick. Might have been.
I think he was a day 2.
Dynasty rookie drafts early 3rd. He went slightly earlier than that because of the draft capital. Tank Dell might be the archetypal tell me what he can do, not what he can't player in this class. He's the ideal fit for the Cougars scheme, and they did a great job of finding creative ways to use him which maximised his strengths. e.g. using him in motion on just about every play versus Cincinnati in 2021 to keep him away from Sauce Gardner. There will be a dozen offensive minds who watch his tape and fear. Should we watch his tape? Come on, Sheahan, you got to edit your work. Be a dozen offensive minds who watch his tape and feel their blood hurting southwards, thinking about all the ways they can use him in their systems next season, but rarely is that ideal for fantasy points. So I got that wrong. I'd be surprised if he's not at least a punt returner in the league next season, and that skill set often does translate to a productive NFL career, though the gadget/vertical slot types are not always friends for fantasy players. It's worth a dart throw after the second round in your dynasty rookie drafts and in the later rounds of best ball drafts. I think that's pretty fucking.
That's pretty good. I like that. Just for clarification, Tank Dell is the nice pick of the draft.
There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. I opened this report with built more like a B1 series battle droid than a tank.
B1 series battle droid. I kind of like that one.
I think that's right. I missed Tank Dell everywhere, and that was the point of reading that report. Is like I scouted him. I really liked him, evidently.
No, he's way better.
I don't have him in any of my leagues.
He's way better than a B1 battle droid. He's more like a droidica.
I mean, he's better than, but he's built like because he's real scrawny.
He's small. Yeah, he's 5'9". It's bad if I'm taller. It's real bad.
Yeah, he's not just short, but he's scrawny as well.
What? I mean,
but if you watch how he gets open, he's just
he just kind of reminds me of a Tyreek Hill-esque type of player, where he just kind of zooms right by people, very quick, very shifty, is able to cut quickly, with effort, with purpose. Would be the best way to say it.
Yes. And look at that catch he had just before halftime.
Oh yeah, that saved me too, baby. That's that. All right, who are you thankful for?
Along the same lines. I'm thankful for
yes,
Puka Nacua.
Yeah, he's up there. These two are league winners right here.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. He is keeping me in the leagues I had him. I went all in on him after the first week of waivers, and I'm really, really pleased that I did, because he has been a backbone of this team. So I'm going to say rookie receivers I'm thankful for. But I will put a hat on that Tank Dell conversation. I'm thankful for CJ Stroud, because not only has he made Tank Dell a thing, Nico Collins has blown up, and I was all in on him 2 years ago, as a rookie, and he has made those shares go through the roof.
Definitely. I mean, right now that offense is through the roof. I do think they may draft a running back, personally. That's my personal opinion. I think they're going to draft a running back next year, and that running back is going to be a heavily sought-out RB.
There's a lot of running backs coming out of contract this year. I reckon they could be in the market to bring in an established guy.
They do have, at least they should, salary cap. I just don't know if they're going to want to spend it on an RB. I think they're going to try to establish maybe a right tackle to Tunsil.
I mean, yes, they probably. I mean, they need to add to their team. Their team's pretty good. You know, they're getting it done, but they need to add to it. I think you take those picks to the draft, and you don't waste an early pick on a running back. Take a player who has got. Continue to build your team, because it's not like you're running back away from.
No, they're definitely not.
Like, invest your early picks in the trenches where you need the help. Continue to grow that way. They don't have early picks. No, they traded their pick this year to come up for Hutchinson, didn't they? Not
Stroud.
Hutchinson. Anderson.
They did. He's doing good, though.
Or did they take Anderson and come back?
No, they took Stroud.
Whatever it was.
Took Stroud and came back for Anderson.
You know, they can probably afford a right tackle and a running back, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I would be going to the market for running back.
Yeah. Let's see. So rookie receivers are what you're thankful for. I'm going to be thankful. Everybody here that's listening should be thanking me. They should be thankful for me. Because I told everybody that Raheem Mostert currently has an ADP of the 10th round. You all will draft him earlier than that, in the 9th, and maybe even the 8th. And you all should be reaping the rewards of that.
100%. I think we should be thankful for Raheem Mostert staying healthy.
Him staying healthy. and drafting him with that late of an ADP.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree with that. He has been. I can't think of a player who has been more money when he's been on the field, and just hasn't been able to do it often enough in his career. So I'm happy he's been able to string these games together. I really hope he gets through a full season.
Yeah, a full season, and more importantly, not significant but useful usage, where he's used has an impact in the red zone, potentially the passing game. I wish they would use him more in the passing game. Outside zones where he's just the problem is when you watch him run, he doesn't do anything special. He's not like electric where he's juking people, faking people out, but he's just like efficient.
Perfect scheme fit.
Perfect scheme fit.
Hits the hole. Like, he has great vision, hits the hole at speed, he's a great decision maker. I would say, circling back to those Tank Deal scouting notes, I'm a pretty good scout of a receiver. I am terrible at scouting running backs. But he does things that I like to see in a running back. He sets up his blocks. He waits for his blocks to sets up players in the open field. I was watching Jerome Ford run on the weekend and couldn't believe how many holes he missed.
Yeah. There's a reason why he is the backup to Nick Chubb. And there's a reason why Kareem Hunt is still taking a significant amount of his carries.
There was one where, if he makes the right decision, makes the right cut as soon as he has the ball, he scores. Instead, he ran into his offensive line.
Reminds me of... what's Richardson.
He just used to run into the fucking offensive line.
He hated the offensive line. He really hated them, the way he just would attack them, which I thought was funny. But
he hated them so bad he wanted to beat them, which is why he spent all his time there. I'm thankful for Keenan Allen.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I feel like for a lot of his career, Keenan Allen has been mentioned in the same breath as players he has not performed as well as. And I like Keenan Allen. I like his bald head. I like his beard. I love his route running. He's a very, very good NFL player. In fact, I wouldn't say he's very, very good. I'd say he's a very good NFL player. But I love the fact that Kellen Moore has come in this year and he has unleashed him at a number of different levels. He's not just running short routes. He's not just running slants. He is getting open down the field. He is making plays. And he is performing in the same breath as those guys he's been mentioned with. Now, I don't think he's ever been a top receiver. He wasn't in the same class as Julio Jones, or I think he probably overlapped with Megatron a little bit. Certainly not in that class. Even AJ Green, Antonio Brown, he probably wasn't there at level. He was always that kind of level or two below. He was... Michael Crabtree was probably below him, to be fair. Mm-hmm. I like an Anquan Bolden. Good player, great player. But, then he's not nudging the Hall of Fame. And I love the fact that he's having this late career renaissance, albeit on a team that should be doing much better than they are.
I mean, he has had a couple of drops that hit his face mask last week. I mean, he has been, like you mentioned, a phenomenal type of fantasy football player. The way he just garners receptions and yards after catch and touchdowns. He is a touchdown magnet in the red zone. As I am very salty I did not draft him in one of my leagues.
I think that's fine, though. I think it's okay to miss on him because this hasn't been the player he's been. He's been a very good player, but you look at him and you're like, not Keenan Allen.
I like Keenan Allen.
I like him as well.
Like him. You know who I'm thankful for? Definitely not Mike Williams. Let's go, baby. Aha, once again, baby. I'm right. He's trash. Get rid of him. Should have never had him.
He got injured.
Send him to the shadow.
He was playing good football before he got injured.
He's injured. It's exactly what he does. Has one phenomenal game. He's not in your starting lineup. And then guess what? When you want to put him in your starting lineup, he gets hurt. That's what he does. Or he just disappears. That's what he does. Definition of Mike Williams. Washed. He is quite literally the dishes. Anyway.
Someone's going to overpay for him to be probably a 1 next year.
Ain't nobody paying him. I guarantee you. He's going to have to re-sign with the Chargers on a very cheap deal where he's just going to fizzle out. And then he's going to...
I think he's going to go I would like to see him paired with Kyler Murray. I think that would be.
You know what? I hope he does go, because I don't think it'll work out.
What else you got for me? What else are you thankful for? And then once we'll do one more each, and then we'll do what are you not thankful for?
I'm thankful for Mike Evans, because he's just been absolutely dominating and killing it. And he's just, you know, the problem is with him, he was boring. He was boring to have on your fantasy team. It's not like you're sitting there like, oh my God, I got Mike Evans. Like, oh, I'm guaranteed 1,000-yard season and maybe 10 touchdowns. That's boring. Nobody wants that. And all of a sudden, guess what he's doing? Already almost 800 yards, 780 with 7 touchdowns. Come on. He's killing it. Absolutely killing it. For the person that, I'm kind of looking back at one of my leagues. I'm looking, he was drafted in the, I was just looking at it. He was drafted in the 7th round, mid-7th round in a league. And you're sitting there telling me you were getting probably wide receiver 1 production out of him right now. Maybe not complete high-end wide receiver, like low-end wide receiver 1 production out of him. Like right now, I'm looking at wide receivers that got taken before him. Darren Waller, Jerry Jeudy, Chris Godwin, Gabriel Davis.
Oh, Gabe Davis with his big fucking egg this week.
Terry McLaurin, out of all people.
I think you could be thankful for Dave Canales, the OC for the Bucks. He was OC for the Seahawks last year. Made Geno worthwhile. He's made Baker worthwhile. They're both. I mean, he's playing. He's playing.
Yes. When hasn't he? His issue was his hamstring,
making them watchable.
And the fact he's just boring to watch. That's it. He's just boring to have on your fantasy team. He's not. It's just like having Keenan Allen on your fantasy team. It's not cool.
Yeah. He doesn't excite you. He's a foundation guy.
He is, and it's not. It's like having Javonte Williams, except Javonte won't do it that good. But
remember that game with Brady where Evans had like 3 catches for 4 yards and 3
touchdowns? It was
touchdowns?
great. He was on my team.
Yeah, that was quality. Anyway, good for him. I like the fact that there was so much hype around Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's a fine NFL player. But Mike Evans has just held him as bay. It's like, nah, man, it's still my team.
Big-bodied receiver will always have opportunities, whether if it's not in between the 20s, it is the red zone because he's a big-bodied receiver.
Yeah, he's better than that, though. He's better than most big-bodied receivers because we see a lot of big guys that just don't get it done. Mike Williams, good NFL player. I mean, he's still in the NFL. See a lot of guys that don't make it that far. N'Keal Harry.
That's because he's on the Patriots. Oh, hypothetical for you. I got one. I got a hypothetical for you real fast. Side note, hypothetical.
I think he's on the Vikings.
Doesn't matter.
Now.
I got a hypothetical for you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
So the Patriots right now currently own the 3rd pick in the NFL draft. I believe the 3rd pick.
Yes.
If they take Marvin Jones Jr., does that guarantee he's a bust? Marvin Harrison Jr. Sorry.
I know where you're going with this. I would be disappointed for them to take him because there's no need.
Is he going to be a bust?
You know what I'd like them to do with that pick? Package up that one, package up next year's, and trade it for Justin Herbert.
Is he going to be a bust?
If he goes to the Patriots, yeah, probably because no, he's not going to be a bust on the Patriots. It's like saying Garrett Wilson's a bust on the Jets.
Is he a bust?
No, he's not a bust.
Because will you have to reevaluate the way you look at wide receivers? Because that means Bill Belichick, who can't scout wide receivers to save his life, thought he was good enough for the team. Does that mean you have to reevaluate how you look at wide receivers? Because apparently you thought the same thing as Bill Belichick, which would make you wrong, or would you just go the complete opposite of what Bill Belichick does?
Let me posit an alternative theory for you. Is that this is the earliest pick he will have had. And if you have a can't-miss prospect, like theoretically Marvin Harrison Jr. is, I haven't watched his tape closely enough to know. But if you look and go, well, yeah, he's the number 1 player on our board, we're going to take him. Like,
is he a bust? Yes or no?
No.
Even if he's on the Patriots.
I mean, this is what I'm saying. Is Garrett Wilson a bust on the Jets? Like, I wouldn't necessarily like the pick, but I don't think he's going to be a bust just because he's on
Yes,
the
but the difference is the Patriots aren't the Jets. All right, the Jets have had good wide receivers in the left end. The Patriots don't, especially with Belichick drafting wide receivers. It just doesn't happen, especially in early rounds. History says he's going to be a bust if he is drafted on the Patriots.
Look at the guys they bring in. They're not the guys that fit the scheme, and scheme fit is so
but
important.
He drafts them
in New England. But look at the guys
he
who
drafts
are successful. Yeah, I know he drafts it. Like Julian Edelman, Jacoby Myers have come in. Like he drafted both of those guys.
Not early rounds. Were they first round picks? Exactly. No, I'm talking about first round
Myers
picks.
Was under. But but what I'm saying is, look at the guys that succeed. You need to understand the system. So I don't know if Marvin Harrison is going to be able to learn a playbook.
It doesn't matter.
Most important part of this.
Is he a early round wide receiver? First round wide receiver.
But you look at why they've busted is because they've come in.
Belichick has scouted every single early round wide receiver that he's drafted, and none of them have worked out. If he does it again and decides Marvin Harrison Jr. is the wide receiver that he wants to take, chances are he's doing something wrong.
Look at the early round receivers they've drafted, though. N'Keal Harry, athletic specimen.
No, he's not.
You look at his tape in college. He absolutely was. You watch his tape. He's big and strong and was a jump ball receiver.
Wasn't his scouting report has trouble creating separation?
Yeah, that's exactly it. But that was in vogue at the time. Like, we saw plenty of players who were overrated around that time because, like, oh, he's going to win everything, he's going to catch everything. And then after about a year and a half, everyone was like, actually, maybe getting open is more important because if you can't get open at college, it's not getting open in the NFL. The guys they drafted early, and this goes all the way back, they're looking at athletic profile. He profiles like a number one. He has size, he has speed, he has whatever it is, strength. But you don't need those to succeed in the Patriots system. That's what I'm saying, is the guys that have been successful are the guys who win with their minds more than their bodies. So I don't know if Marvin Harrison is going to have the capacity to learn the playbook the way they want him to do, to learn the offense the way they want him to do. And if he can't do that, then he will be a bust. But like if you're looking at like N'Keal Harry would have been a bust wherever he went. I quite like Tyquan Thornton. I think he's probably got a pretty big future. Malcolm Mitchell was pretty good before he had to retire due to injury. Like, he was also a more cerebral receiver. So, yeah, they missed on
everybody.
They missed on Harry, they missed on Harry, and they should have done better with that. They should have drafted AJ Brown or Deebo Samuel. I'm sure they had their reasons as to why. But if you look at the guys who were successful, they're the Edelman and Myers, both ex-quarterbacks. They're the guys who think about the game. They look at the field differently. That's the point of all of it. Is like, or they've been guys they've brought in because they know they can already do it, and they've got that. Randy Moss.
They brought him in.
Was a very, very smart. Yeah, they brought him in. Randy Moss, but I mean, they scouted him, and he was a very, very smart NFL player, and he was successful in that system. And we're talking about 16 years ago, thereabouts. But he was still successful. Like, the guys who are athletic freaks don't do well in that system, and that's absolutely fine. So if they're drafting Marvin Harrison because they're like, oh, fuck, look at those tools, then he's going to be a bust. If they look at him, they sit down and go, okay, we think this guy reads the field well. Amon-Ra St. Brown would be perfect in the Patriots offense because he sees the field that way.
You know, it sounds like you're dancing around the words of I'm a bust. Just say he's a bust. That's it. Just say if he's drafted by the Patriots, he's a bust. That's it. End of discussion.
He's not a bust. If they don't have the quarterback there, then anyone will be a bust because they're not going to get the ball to them. That's part of the issue.
Even with Tom Brady, N'Keal Harry was a bust with Tom Brady.
But like, yeah, because N'Keal Harry was a bust, and I just told you why. Because
this Patriots evaluated him and scouted him and drafted him and a plethora of other wide receivers.
Yeah, but you have to look at why he was a bust, not just.
It doesn't matter why, because Belichick.
If you're going to bust with Tom Brady, you are probably going to bust.
Yes,
with
but Belichick scouted him and made a decision. That means there is something flawed with his decision making because it's not like it's a one-off. It's been multiple instances.
But you're also looking at it from a perspective of this is a guy who keeps making the same mistakes,
and he's going to do it again, right?
Like he didn't look at he didn't look at that and then assess that, hang on, what are we looking for in these players? What are we looking for in the modern NFL? What are we looking for in the archetypes of the players we're drafting? Like, Belichick, the coach, makes up for Belichick, the GM. That's absolutely fine. Like, he's not the best drafter of talent that we have ever seen. And we had Brady for so long, and Belichick, the coach, has covered up a lot of those pitfalls. And we're seeing now that as a team builder, he is not very good, or he is not as good as he could be. And he's created this position for himself where he's the only person in that organization. And that's a real issue, because you have to cede control. You have to get outside views to a degree. You have to respect other people's opinions of things. And I think that has limited them. That's why they're floundering at the bottom of the table. And that's why I'm saying I would rather them trade those picks for Justin Herbert. Bring in guys, because I don't want them taking Caleb Williams, because I don't think he's that good. I don't really love Michael Penix Jr. Or maybe it's Penix Jr. I don't know. But to rule out a guy and just go, if the Patriots know he's going to be a basketball player, that's bad scouting.
No, they have bad scouting, because it always happens with them.
We'll see. I don't think they will take Marvin Harrison Jr. anyway. I think it's a pointless discussion, because I don't think they're going to waste an early pick on a skill position player unless it's quarterback.
Sounds like you haven't been a Patriots fan long enough.
I mean, look at the cornerback last year. They took a guard the year before.
Kind of a bust.
Who knows? I think they will probably draft. I think they'll probably trade back a couple of times and take a fucking guard. Like, that's what'll happen. Or they'll take like a 5 technique defensive tackle.
Yeah, he's going to be a bust. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, boys. Sorry, everybody listening. Marvin Harrison Jr. on the Patriots. Bust. There you go, boys.
We'll see how he goes. I really wanted them to draft Jordan Addison.
So the past, sorry, boys, the past 15 minutes was Sheahan dancing around the fact that he's going to be a bust.
Let's wait and see. As I say, I don't think the Patriots are going to take him anyway. So.
I don't know. I saw that. I thought about that today, and I was like, you know what? Let me save this. I actually wrote it down. I wrote it in my notes. I was like, all right, make sure to ask Sheahan about this.
I saw it on X and was like, this is the most like low-hanging fruit.
That's correct.
Like engagement farming bullshit is what I thought.
And the problem is,
it's good. Get it because it's better. No, it's terrible. Anyway, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the New York Jets because they are a laughing stock of the NFL. No matter how bad the Patriots season going, I can still look at the Jets and be glad that I am not a Jets supporter. I can laugh at what they've done with Zach Wilson. I don't laugh about Aaron Rodgers getting injured, because like that sucks. They would have been a fun team to watch with him, and you know the guy's getting towards the end of his career, and you don't want him to go out like this. But yeah, I like that they suck. I like that they can't get out of their own way, and I'm fine with that. I like that their owner has too much power, and his name's Woody Johnson, which is just inherently fun.
What a pimp. Nice. I'm thankful for the randomness of statistics that you can use to randomly justify your opinions. Like me with Belichick being trash at drafting wide receivers, and that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a trash wide receiver if he's drafted on the Patriots. But I got another one for you when it comes to wide receivers. So right now I got a list of a lot of early round receivers that I'd like to read to you that were traded before the end of their first contract. Them, yes, Brown. Like for example, like AJ Brown, and we can decide, because usually you know, if they get traded before their first contract ends, usually that means there's an issue, right? Whether it's personality, talent, scheme, system, all that, yada 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 yada.
Yeah, well, they want to get paid.
Yes, or they want to get paid. So I'm going to list you, and then we're going to find out if basically if it happens, it's a death sentence for the wide receiver. So right now I'm gonna skip a little bit just because some of the names are really old, because Sammy Watkins and Brandon Cooks are on the list. Do you remember Dorial Green Beckham, by the way?
I do remember Dorial Green Beckham. I also like that there's now Dorian Thompson Robinson. I don't know if this is a You have a hyphenated surname if your name starts with Doria in the NFL.
All right, so let's start off with Josh Gordon. Traded before his wide receiver contract ended. And, he kind of definitely did fizzle out. Amari Cooper traded to the...
You could say he flamed
that
out.
too. Yeah, Amari Cooper, he was traded to get paid by the Cowboys.
Yep,
Still a good wide receiver. Zay Jones. In my opinion, he's kind of a bust. Or not a bust, but he's just not fantasy relevant.
I guess there's two elements to this, I would say, that are worth noting. You've got player-driven trades, let's say. Like players who want to get out and get paid. And then you've got, oh shit, we need a receiver. Give us Zay Jones for a 6th rounder.
Yeah, but usually he's bad if you do that.
Yeah, so like my point being, it's hard to lump them in together as like, well, all receivers who get traded before their first contract are good/bad, because there's trading going on for a variety of reasons. Yes,
but usually they trade him specifically if they are traded before the first contract ends. It is, especially high-profile first-round, second-round receivers. It's because either one, they're trash. Mm-hmm. 2, they're going for a contract extension that the team can't currently afford.
Yep.
Josh Gordon, no, he was not traded because of his first contract that they could not afford re-signing him. He was just bad.
Yeah.
All right, off-field issues that made him bad. Amari Cooper, he wanted the contract extension. They couldn't afford it. Zay Jones, they could not. It wasn't they couldn't afford a contract extension. They just didn't feel like they needed him. AKA, he was bad.
Was he at the Bills to start with?
I think it was the Bills.
He was. Or was he on the...
He was on the Bills at some point.
He was on the Raiders after
at some point, and then now the...
He just didn't crack it.
He didn't crack it anywhere he went.
I reckon they would love to have him now as their wide receiver 2-3.
He's trash. He is a 2 catches, 30 yards type of player. Anthony Miller.
Yeah, I remember him. People like the metrics loved him because he had enormous hands, and that was basically there's a whole bunch of metrics that you want to look at on how to predict wide receiver success, and the only kind of soft correlation people found over whatever time it was that hand size had a big thing to do with it, and his hands were so big they were off the charts, and he was quite good that end of his first rookie season, but then he just never did anything.
I don't remember him much. AJ Brown, of course, he was traded for a contract extension. Marquise Brown was also traded for a contract extension.
Yeah, I reckon part of that was culture.
At the same
well.
time,
they didn't like his drops.
He didn't want to be a Raven. I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to be one as a wide receiver one either. Brian Edwards. He was just trash.
Yeah, he was another metrics guy for the Raiders.
Trash. N'Keal Harry, of course, trash. Also drafted by the Patriots. So
metrics guy.
Trash. JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Another metrics guy in that same draft as Harry. So you had N'Keal Harry, Hakeem Butler, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, and all of them were jump ball guys in college, and basically based on that archetype, teams have gone a different way with their scouting because of it. They were the 3, oh my god, he wins everything in college, but he can't get open.
Trash.
Those 3
He
guys.
who must not be named. Trash. Dog water.
Playing running back now.
Jalen Reagor.
Trash. Now on the Patriots.
Trash. I mean, see, that's another thing. Bill Belichick looked at him and was like, yeah, we could use him. He'd be good on our team. See? Another guy.
I mean, he's not been the worst receiver.
That doesn't help. That doesn't help. Like, he doesn't have much to go off. Trash. Just further proves my point. Trash. Yes. Kadarius Toney was the latest one.
Cultural fit. He didn't want to be there from day one.
Do you blame him? It's the Giants. Come on.
No.
Yeah, so typically, unless it's to get a contract extension, if a wide receiver gets traded before his rookie contract ends, they're trash. And they fizzle out.
Yeah, I
fizzle out financially. I mean, of course, there's now Elijah Moore. This list is a little bit older. Sorry, I interrupted you. Elijah Moore's on that list now, but he's Meh.
So, Tyreek Hill is kind of vaguely on
He
that
got traded
list.
for a contract
He got traded
extension.
around the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is he got traded for that extension? Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
There was
you could probably say that about most players.
Marvin
like,
Mims.
If they're not true. Marvin
Mims.
Mims.
I forgot it was.
No,
Denzel Mims. Yeah.
Mims. Marvin Mims is
Still trash.
yeah. I kind of still believe in it.
I still believe in Elijah Moore
I think
personally as well, but history says he's trash.
Yes. Yeah, I think if we went through and properly picked over that list, looking at who got traded just because they weren't good versus who got traded for a cultural reason, then you'd probably go, yeah, all right, they're the three tiers. No one's being traded from being bad and then goes to being good.
Exactly. No, that never happens.
I would say the best example of that is Zay Jones. And it's not like he's been good. He's gone from bad to, I guess, passable in a bye week.
Trash.
Certainly last year, and he was okay on the Raiders as well. He's buried this year and he can't stop dropping the fucking ball, and he's not beating up his mum.
Was it Zay Jones that did that? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. What a G. What a pimp. Actually, never mind. I take back everything I said about it. What a pimp. What a real one. I'm drafting him first next year.
Because he beat up his mum.
As he should. She's probably didn't make him enough
I think.
food for Thanksgiving.
Maybe made him the rice and chicken instead of rice and lamb. I'm going to say one thing I'm not thankful for. The New Orleans Saints.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, honestly.
The most boring waste of time team in the NFL.
You misspelled Patriots.
They have a pretty good brand. Black and gold, that's strong. The Saints, New Orleans, all of that sort of stuff. They're just uninteresting. Like, Derek Carr, what are you doing? Michael Thomas, we were big on him. He's been
he's
shit.
hurt now.
They're like impossible to watch. And we talked about this with the Patriots last week. You can be bad if you're interesting. The Saints are like, they're not bad enough to be bad. They're not interesting enough to be compelling. They just kind of exist. And it's not even, pardon me, it's not even like, oh, we're a good franchise. We're a historic franchise. We're always competing. They're just like, they're the shit version of the Steelers. In that the Steelers are always kind of there or thereabouts because they've got a good structure, they've got history, they've got Mike Tomlin. The Saints, I don't know, they've just got no identity. They've got absolutely no identity. And they seem convinced that they need to keep running back whatever last remains of Sean Payton are there for almost no relevance whatsoever. Like, you bring in Derek Carr, the most milquetoast quarterback in the NFL. You can't do anything with Chris Olave, and they've clearly got issues. Michael Thomas, nothing's happening there. You're dumping the ball off to Alvin Kamara 15 times a game, which is fantastic for PPR and half-point PPR.
Let's go.
It's not compelling. The only interesting player on their team is Taysom Hill.
And I hate him because he's a tight end.
So yeah, I'm not thankful for the New Orleans Saints.
Fair enough. And that's going to perfectly segue into what I'm not thankful for. I'm not thankful for tight ends. I hate you all. I hope you guys all get ejected out of fantasy football for good. I hope nobody in a competitive league adds you into the lineup. I hope I never have to draft one of you little fucks again. I hate having to decide, do I want to start Cole Kmet or Terry McBride? I hate having to sit there and go, maybe I'll just start Taysom Hill instead of everybody and hope for the best. Then he picks up half a point. I can't. I hate having to evaluate tight ends. I hate everything about them. I just wish they weren't in fantasy football.
We are running out of time on this episode because I need to get to it. But I have... maybe we'll say this for another week, but I'm getting pretty fed up with the fantasy community in general, wanting to make the game of fantasy easier and less variable. Like, if you take out all the variables, what's the point of playing? Just draft the best lineup and go, this is the predicted lineup. Like, there needs to be variable within that. I know you hate tight ends, and I'm starting to come around to it too, but just I've seen so much shit in the past couple of weeks of like, oh, you should be able to do this, and if there's an injury, you should be able to do that. Just fucking take the good with the bad. Like, it's really starting to annoy me. We can talk about it.
Yeah,
next
like
week.
injury variables, I don't like those. Like, let's say you started a player, he's hurt, get over it.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, I did this and I should get no. Cool. Right. Do you want to get into 2-minute drill? You can start. I always start.
I don't have the list of teams in front of me. I apologize.
That's all right. I will start.
Do you have the thing sent to me?
No, because it's not
Wow.
published yet. Because it comes out on Tuesday.
All right, now I have to go on NFL.
Actually, I'll tell you what we can do. Instead of doing 2-minute drill, how about we talk about... Oh, hang on. We can't talk about Thanksgiving games because it might not come out. I'm looking forward to the Thanksgiving games. Sitting down with my food, Lions-Packers. I'll watch that. And then I'm kind of excited for Jets-Dolphins on Black Friday.
I'm just really glad that the Niners or any other team that I'm not rooting for, by the way, play on a day that I can watch Red Zone freely now. If that makes sense.
Yeah. That's nice.
All right, go for it. Your turn.
Rightio. So, what am I looking forward to this week? Bengals Steelers, the NFC North. What is going on there is an injury curse. Kenny Pickett seems to have avoided it, but he is trash. Pat Curran, friend of the show, his dad's assessment of Kenny Pickett was he is worse than you led me to believe. I am kind of a mind with that. I talked last week about how Jordan Addison got him drafted in the first round of the NFL, and I think that he's basically next year going to be this year's Mac Jones. That being said, I think they're going to have enough to hold off the Bengals here, and the Bengals probably have to reassess what they're doing with Jake Brown-Eye after this weekend. Close, low-scoring game, but in an NFC North where anything could happen at this point, this is make or break for the Bengals. Game I am super excited to watch, another divisional game. Texans-Jags. That should be a real haymaker, knock 'em down bout, really. Like, I'm thinking it should be 4 or 5 touchdowns per team. Trevor Lawrence needs, I think, a big breakout game. We've seen him play some very good football last year. He's been kind of underwhelming this year. He's just a good, solid, steady quarterback. They need to open up the playbook for him and let him have a go. Let him do what he can do. We saw him run a bit more on Sunday, which I was calling for last week. And hopefully that stays with it because they are an interesting team. They've got a very good offense. But, like, just take the fucking training wheels off. Take the limiter off the engine. Let him have a go. And I want to see that. I want to see that versus the Texans. I feel like that could potentially be like a 70-point over-under. That should be a lot of offense, not a lot of defense. Finally, last couple of seconds, Giants-Patriots. Tommy DeVito. If they cannot beat the Giants, that's like number one pick, surely. It's just sad.
Mm-hmm. I just kind of want to shout out the Eagles real fast because they have a phenomenal fun game stretch of games where, I mean, one, we're being robbed of a phenomenal Sunday or Monday Night Football game of the Bills and the Eagles. The fact that is a 1:00 game Pacific Standard Time is, in my opinion, robbery because guess what? We're going to watch the Bears and Vikings Monday night instead. Wow, that's so cool. I'm really interested in seeing that. Wow. And then right after that, the Eagles, they play the Niners. Again, a 1:00 game. Instead, we get to watch the Bengals-Jaguars. Actually, maybe like when the Mets schedule was making, that would have been a really good game. Not so much anymore. But hey, you know what you could do? You could flex it. Or the Chiefs and the Packers. That's also Sunday night. But you could flex that out. I would highly appreciate it. I think it's a good idea. I'd rather watch those at Sunday night. And then right after that, so three weeks in, the Eagles play the Cowboys right after that, which I think is another phenomenal. They have 3 primetime football games that should be on primetime that aren't on primetime, which I think is a robbery. I think whenever there are playoff matchups, they have to be primetime games over the games that are not playoff matchups. Like, there's no way the Bears and maybe the Vikings actually, but there's no way the Bears and the Vikings is like one of those, oh my God, you have to watch it Sunday Night Football game. I think it's ridiculous. Another moment of where scheduling, I think, needs to be more fluid. And the fact that they haven't flexed out some of these games already is, I think, a travesty. And I really don't want to watch those games on my primetime. And, there are games that you want to watch on Red Zone, and there's games you don't want to watch on Red Zone because some games deserve the full drive, not just the Red Zone or the big plays. The Bills and Eagles deserve the full drives. The Bears and Vikings deserve to be on Red Zone because you should only watch that game if something happens in that game. Same with the Rams and Cardinals. That's, one of those classic red zone games. Like, cool. I'm sure interesting stuff is going to happen. But put the Bills and Eagles on until then. So that's my rant.
Fair enough. There you go. Good 2-minute drill. You got a prognostication for me?
Yeah, that they flex an Eagles game to prime time.
What have I got? Mine last week did not come true because they never come true.
I don't remember what mine was. Oh, mine was the Dolphins lose to the Raiders, which actually I should have been right.
It's close. Close with no cigar. Close only counts with horseshoes and hand grenades.
Sure.
No, I feel like every week I go, there'll be more this than that. There's only 6 games in the early window on.
Thank God, because sometimes like the early window of
I want to go to the Octobox.
Yeah, like Octobox is cool for like 5 seconds, but like the problem is there's so much action filled packed in the morning games, and then the afternoon games are such a dud that it becomes hard watching Red Zone. And it's bad when during the Red Zone games that they go and put highlights on the morning games. Like they need to have a better balance of that. Hopefully this is one.
Yeah. All right. 200 yards and 3 touchdowns for Bijan Robinson.
200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cool. He's going to be on my bench.
Bench Sean Robinson.
I'm kidding. I would never dare draft him.
Yeah. I did try to trade for him, if you recall.
Did it work? It did not. Yeah.
No. It did not. No. It
Alrighty.
Not. And I'm kind of disappointed.
As you should not be, because you didn't miss out on much.
No, that's kind of the
same. Alrighty. Well, of course, that's going to have to wrap up this episode. Of course, Sheahan, where can everybody find you? Alright, good luck, everybody.
I'm ready. I'm ready for all today.